Top 10s of 2021. I made a best, well, making a best, haven't made it yet, a worst, and an honorable mentions list. And this is the honorable mentions list. So, and I ordered it, top 10. Have not seen every movie in 2021, forgive me. But, like, subscribe, thank you for watching. Please watch more of our videos, you know. All of our watchers are people who aren't subscribed to us. Why? Are you subscribed? Keep watching more videos. Thank you. Number 10. I know Benedict Cumberbatch did something about a dog recently, and it's probably going to make him another Academy Award winner. But I watched this movie that he did early in the year that no one saw called The Courier, espionage film. And it is one of those movies that reminds you that there are so many people in history that have done things to save the world that you just don't know about. And it's kind of like he brought Alan Turing to the big screen, and people learned about Alan Turing. It was another one of those movies that I went and typed up this guy and had to learn about him. But people saved the world, man. It was about Benedict Cumberbatch being a spy, pretending to be some, I think, insurance something, going into Russia. And another guy who's a Russian, double agent, helping him out. They both have this camaraderie. Very cool, tense movie. Really liked it a lot. Sad fleck. Read that Batman story. Matt Damon, who talked out the Batman, which I'm fine with because everyone loves Zack Snyder's Justice League universe. I'm not one of those people. Forgive me. I love looking at Gal Gadot. Please don't stop watching. Number 9, The French Dispatch. Saw this in the perfect setting, a little art house theater called the Cinematique in Daytona Beach. Perfect little art house theater. Got little tables you sit by. And yeah, it was a beautifully written movie. This guy has a knack for dialogue. It is the most Wes Anderson movie in history. All the Wes Anderson tropes are in this movie. Very stylized. Favorite story, because it's divided into like a bunch of little stories, is the first story with Benicio del Toro as an artist. Loved it. Adrian Brody, commonplace in Wes Anderson films. It was great. Tilda Swinton was naked. Lea Seydoux was naked. She's fun to look at naked. That's a woman with a body. She's basically the French Scarlett Johansson. Great movie. Jeffrey Wright. That man can say some dialogue. Cannot wait for his Gordon. Number 8, Cruella. What I don't like that Disney does is that it can't have villains anymore. It's just even watching Boba Fett right now, I wish he was more of a villain. But it takes his villains and turns them into anti-heroes or basically just heroes, and I don't like it. So that's the one thing I didn't like about this movie. But the rest of this movie, if I just tune out, that's a Disney character. It is a very cool movie about the fashion industry, which is this fun. And back in like the 60s, and it's just two people at war. Someone working in there, sabotaging her boss in this great revenge story. Emma Stone's phenomenal, as always. So it's a great, very entertaining little movie that came out if you ignore it as attached to Disney. It's not a little movie, it's a big movie. But I like to pretend it has nothing to do with Cruella from 101 Dalmatians. The villain, because Emma Thompson's character is more of the villain, more the Cruella de Vil than Cruella de Vil. But number 7, No Time to Die. James Bond went out with a bang. Very action-packed movie. This should be... First one's great. Best one of the entire series. Skyfall's great. This one's good. Is it great? It might be great. I have to rewatch it. But, yeah, Daniel Craig, he got his wish. He got his wish. Good movie. Action-packed. Every second of it was very entertaining. I'm not sick, I swear. Sniffles. Number 6, movie no one saw called Censor. Cool VHS style movie. Had a VHS like look to it. Little aspect ratio shrunk down. It is a very cool little art house movie about a girl who censors movies for a living. She's with like the MPAA. And she's watching the, what are those things called? These gory films, body horror films, video gore, video horror, video something. Oh, I can't remember now. It's driving me crazy. Whatever. Video nasty. It's video nasty. There we go. And she watches these things, and she is the person who designates the rating for it, and that she has this obsession with finding her sister who went missing. And she believes she found her sister in one of these videos. That she's producing really low-budget, gory horror films, or she's an actress in them. And it's a very cool, interesting movie about, like, obsession and a very crazy ending. but it is a fascinating little movie that I wish more people saw. Movies like this, they aren't going to get made in the future. I'm telling you. The Ben Affleck said, he said the future movies are just going to be comic book and IP and sequels that are going to be in theaters. And everything else is just going to be in streaming. Very sad. I hate streaming. I want it all to go away. Number 5, Candyman. I think if Candyman had a better ending, this would be my top 10, but Candyman's ending was just weak to me. I thought it was cool what happened at the very end. Spoiler, he turned into a bee monster and he's killing the cops. Very cool. But it just wasn't a big payoff story-wise to this movie. Like, the original Candyman has great story arc that I loved. And it just didn't come close to that Candyman. And it wasn't scary like that Candyman. It was more modern. Like, you can see the visual effects are better. But it didn't hold a candle at the end to Candyman. But the gore was great. A lot of scenes were great. It did have its moments. Body horror is always gross and nasty to look at to me, so it creeped me out there. And, yeah. Still was not a bad movie. It's a decent movie. Still a decent movie. I've got to rewatch it again. Number 4. This one's going to get a lot of people mad. Dune! Beautiful movie to see in the cinema. If you saw this at home, you are doing yourself a disservice. Stop being lazy. Go $5 Tuesdays, man. There's movie deals everywhere. Become a rewards member. I get a free ticket after every 20 movies. But Dune is going to make a lot of people's top 10s. Didn't make my top 10. I just didn't gravitate towards it that much. And I love Denis Villeneuve's his list of movies, especially Blade Runner 2049. Just chef's kiss of a movie. It was wonderful on a technical scale. I just didn't find myself latching on to anything. I really like Stellan Skarsgård floating Rhino Man. This big, disgusting, filthy, slimy boy. The world was great. The visual effects were phenomenal. The music was insane and interesting. I loved that this movie ended in a fistfight scene instead of some big war scene, because as cool as that is, it's very expected of a sci-fi movie. And I love the big nighttime invasion, especially the shot of the aerial missiles just getting rained down like hellfire from above. But yeah, it didn't make my top 10. Didn't gravitate that much to it. Duncan, Idaho is just that one of those names that I can't believe someone wrote down. Number 3, Wrath of Man. Just a really good action movie. I watched it, think it was going to be dumb. I think it was raining. I was going to go skateboarding and it rained. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go watch a movie. Went to see this. Jason Statham, never really been a guy to me. He's not someone I like as an actor. But I left that movie like, wow, that was a kick-ass action movie. Kick-ass action movie. With a great name, Wrath of Man. That climax was something else. I really just sat back and completely got my money's worth. I just went to violence and epicness, and it was great. It was an epic, violent movie. So, yeah. Number 2, Cop Shop. Speaking of good names was Wrath of Man. Bad names is Cop Shop. That is one of the worst 2 words ever put together. Cop Shop. Ugh. What an awful name. It doesn't even relate to anything in this movie. I guess there's cops in the movie, but what the hell does Cop Shop mean? Disgusting name. But the rest of the movie is phenomenal. This lead actress, what is her name? I forget names. Whatever. She was great. He always looks like Russell Crowe. Gerard Butler. He was great. Freaking Frank Grillo was great. Frank Grillo is so good, I didn't even know it was Frank Grillo to the end of the movie. When I looked it up, I was like, wow, that was Frank Grillo? But those 3, kick ass. And this psychopathic guy who was trying to hunt them down, this redneck assassin, I don't know the actor's name. He was so good. He had such a funny way of saying things. His dialogue was hysterical. His accent was hysterical. He was intimidating. He was truly I'm like, this is this little mini universe's Joker. Just a maniacal madman who kills because it's fun. And it was a cool little isolated film that was just something you don't see a lot anymore. Isolated into one spot, very dialogue driven, gets violent at times, and I was very into it. Very into it. I don't like how it ended because it's one of those movies that just doesn't stop ending. but it kicked ass. And female lead that didn't do the woke thing where, oh, because she's a woman, she has to be unstoppable and unkillable badass. She was a badass who said a lot of cool dialogue, but she certainly was not some unbeatable person. She was definitely a very beatable person that you felt for and you're like rooting for her, but she wasn't Rey from Star Wars. It's Jesus Christ. I was very much on her side. And I'm like, that's how you do a female lead right there. Like Ripley. Go look at Ripley. Back in the day. Sigourney Weaver. Nothing special about her. She just was a determined, motivated, brave woman. And she didn't need to be invincible like a lot of these movies make women now because they're like, oh, feminism. So this lead in this movie, loved her. Love the actress too. Sorry, I can't remember. Only movie I think you've ever been in. Number 1. Almost made my top 10. Really almost did. A Quiet Place 2. Quiet Place 2 was basically just a little bit more an amped up Quiet Place 1. But I didn't care for a Quiet Place 1 like everyone else did. But this one I thought had a great intro. The intro was phenomenal. And I love the whole island thing. I love Cillian Murphy, whatever the hell his name is. I loved him in this movie. I like the deaf girl, like her little story arc. I like that it was a passing of the torch from parents to kids. I thought that was a great theme of the movie. Kind of ended the same, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. I saw it twice. And I left that theater feeling like this was just a one-upped version of the previous film. So, yeah, almost made my top 10, but not quite. But good movie. Big fan of it. Also saw Don't Breathe too. That was also like a sequel kind of like this. Except it did the opposite. It didn't one-up the first one, but it just amped up certain elements of the first one. Very entertaining. Not making a top 10, but yeah. So those are my honorable mentions. Quick rundown. Where the hell is it at? Courier, French Dispatch, Cruella, No Time to Die, Censor, Candyman, Dune, Wrath of Man, Cop Shop, A Quiet Place 2. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. All good movies. Got my recommendation, man.